The multi-purpose model validation efforts for radiation environment in the NAIRAS region. First, I'd like to acknowledge my co-authors, and there are many more also involved in the such effort. So to transition space environment and space science models into operations, it's crucial to test and validate models for historical and real-time or forecasting modes, and with different types of users' needs in mind. And such model validation efforts already have had a good start. This presentation will focus on two aspects. One is on models describing radiation bound electron dynamics, and the other is on those of radiation environment at aviation altitudes. So there are two types of radiation storms, and here are their sources and the characteristics. So ion radiation storms due to GCRs and SEPs, and so the GCRs is continuous low flux level, but hard to shield. And then solar energy particles is very hard to predict because it's episodic, and it's hard to predict when that will happen. The electron radiation storms that's in the nearest environment, they are also called killer electrons. It has very complex dynamics and varies at different temporal scales. So they can bring a lot of impacts on electronics and also on humans. And this talk will focus on two aspects. One is internal electrostatic discharge caused by killer electrons, and the other is aviation effects, the radiation effect at aviation altitudes. So in general, the model validation procedure and the essentials are, particularly our multi-purpose validation one. It's first we have to determine the essential space environment quantities. That's more like a user-oriented. That's the most relevant to space weather effects. And also choose the quality observations for model data comparison and set up a unifying guideline to allow fair comparisons, and also choose the appropriate metrics. And then we have to quantify error bars, which are often a challenging task. It's often a challenging task. And then we have to archive the results. And the essential space environment quantities, by engaging different communities together, we determined that for internal charging, it's 1 MeV and 2 MeV electron flux, both like differential flux or integral flux, due to the availability of the measurements and how they correlate with existing anomaly database. And for the radiation effect at aviation altitudes, the essential environment quantities, the spectral parameter, the dose, rate, so on. So the time period of interest also given here. The relevant models here, it's not definitely a exhaustive list. These models are most of them available at CCMC or to be available at CCMC soon. So models on radiation bound electrons, the Prbem, SEMI, the coupled space weather modeling framework, and SEMI, and SEMI is a radiation bound model. Models on radiation exposure at aviation altitude, we have NAIRAS, that's a NASA model, then CARRIE 7, it's an FAA model, and Pendoka is from DLR, Germany. Then next I will talk about the initial, the validation effort in both areas. So for radiation bound electron models, we have chosen the intervals of interest, the 15 April to May, and also the September one. And the model validation guidelines have been clearly defined. This effort led by Yuri and Paul and myself, and then we will start with models driven by geo observations. And this is the initial result from the verb and provided by Yuri. So looks pretty good. More need to be done. And for future goal in this radiation belt model validation is we want to do validation of real-time rise, so-called community scoreboard that will include displays of flags and fluence that matters for users, and the effects that say from the charging code engineering to look at the impact. These are the put the quantities and into the a dictat or NUMIT, that kind of model, or AP9, E9, the shield dose package to get the impact parameter. NAIRAS now has been running at CCMC since September, so available on ISWA. It's integrated space weather analysis system, and the layout is given here. So the product including the dose at different altitudes, and you can at the bottom choose different dose or different altitudes, and here is the rigidity cutoff map from the model suite, and also the flight path from Seoul to New York, and then dose calculation from the model. So we have some comparison. The plot is very new, so better graphics and the better validation efforts are forthcoming. And also there's a publication resulting from the International Forum for Space Weather Capabilities. So this is looking in quiet time, the validation for all three models, the aviation effects models, by looking at the ambient dose equivalent rate. The measure is to look at the relative deviation between the model and the data. So challenges and next steps for such effort. So challenges, models need to be ready for such validation effort, including the right output and in the right easy format. So it's not a easy task sometimes. Also the post-processing tools or extracting fluxes at any arbitrary spacecraft location that often requires a magnetic field model, so things can quickly get messy. And also the challenge to set up unifying guideline when there are a variety of models available. And such efforts are not yet well funded, so the funding issue pose challenges for broader community participation, and also lack of high quality measurements. So next step, we will push forward such multi-purpose validation effort, and also establish the community ensemble scoreboard in both areas, make further progress. So we like to invite people to join and this G3 cluster and making further progress and this SWAT initiative. This is the publications from previous efforts for people who are interested in. Thanks.